For the longest time, my husband did not realize that we can make pulled pork at home and we didn't have to go and commercially buy it. So I had him do all the steps. I sat there and instructed and gave my sage wisdom. And here's the result of my husband's pulled pork sandwiches. I'm going to show you all the ingredients that we're actually going to be using on the pulled pork today. And of course, crock pot liners. So what you're going to do is go ahead and line your crock pot with a liner. It makes it for easier cleanup because as you saw in my crock pot, there's like a stain of demarcation from how many times I use it. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that's nice and flat. Now we're going to start with seasoning salt. Then we're going to do some adobo. We're going to do some garlic powder. We have onion powder. We also have black pepper and chili powder that we're going to be using for these. So we sprinkle all of the seasonings. There, of course, don't worry if you didn't catch them. They're going to be in the description box down below as well, so you'll have the measurements. After you put the seasoning, you're going to go ahead and put the seasoned side down in the crock pot and then start the whole seasoning process all over again. Now this is the part where I'm trying to educating him on what seasonings to use and kind of the why behind the madness. So when cooking in a slow cooker, you're gonna have those couple hours where it's gonna tenderly cook, where you're not have to worry about direct heat. And as you guys always know from my channel, my crock pot has been getting a lot of abuse lately. I can't help it. It's the easiest device to cook with. And of course, people that I work with and people that I've been talking to, especially when I grocery shop and tell them about my YouTube channel, they've been trying to get me on an Instapot and air fryer. I mean, your girl will eventually get to that, but not now. And you're gonna do a half a can of this chicken broth. Now, I preferred the chicken broth because it gives it a nice flavor as well as the seasonings. So you're gonna pour half that can on there and go about your business. Now you're gonna go ahead and I push the crock pot back so you guys can see. We're gonna cook this on low and it's gonna be on low for 8 hours. After this, I went to work and my husband was at home. So this is us really early in the morning shredding the pork for the crock pot. So he's getting right in there and you're gonna see his hands a lot from here on out because he really wanted to take ownership over this, which I love because he really doesn't cook. So he's more of a barbecue guy. So this was really amazing to have his like quality time with him to learn. So after he shredded it all, he separated the bone, the cartilage from that shoulder because this was a bone-in roast, and drained all the excess juices and got all of the meat out of the crock pot. And he used a spoon because he's a little impatient, which cracks me up. Or is it efficient? I think it's efficient, but he also says that he's impatient. It's kind of funny. So he got all that, and then he put the bone and the cartilage on the side, and you're gonna see that he's gonna separate the fat as well. So that looks delicious. I of course tried a piece since it's fully cooked, obviously, and it was a great flavor to it. But of course, we're gonna add more flavor. You're gonna see. It's gonna be deliciously caramelized. So after we go ahead and get all of this out of the pan, the first part, we're gonna go ahead and split it between 2 pans and it'll make sure that it cools evenly and cooks evenly when we do our next step. So the last part of this retrieval process is I had him use our handy dandy little strainer and getting all those last pieces of skin and cartilage out of there, and he further shreds the pork because his personal preference, especially for pulled pork, is it to be nice, almost flakes of just good caramelized brownness, which I completely agree with him. So he went through and just took apart as much as he could. Now the next thing that we did is after we got it all completely done, we're gonna go ahead and we blast chilled it in the freezer and let it freeze, which was okay because if you're gonna use this recipe and double it up, especially if you're meal prepping, perfectly fine. But we put it in the freezer and then the next day we put it to bake just until it reached up to temperature, about over 165. You can't be too careful with pork, of course, but you see the steam coming off of that. So now that we got that completely baked, I hand the fork back over to him and let the master of this project continue on his work. So he, again, shreds it a little bit more. He's kind of a little bit compulsive. It's fine. It's fine. Do you, boo. Do you. And then I tell him about the barbecue sauce I made. So I made 3 batches of the barbecue sauce. You're going to see the link for it pop up in the right corner of your screen here. And I drizzle that. He drizzles it. Oh, it's not me cooking this time. He drizzles it completely over. So he used about 1 batch per half a pan of the pork. And then the 3rd batch, we're going to see that later on in the video. So he loves this tool. Of course, it's like outside barbecue brush, but he loves it because he feels like he can get it spread over the meat evenly before we do the second bake off to it. Now it's gonna be in an oven of 400 degrees. This one you gotta watch. Now we did it for about 45 to 50 minutes in the oven, but if you want to turn it up a little higher, like to 425, and only do it for 30 minutes because you don't have that kind of time, that's okay. Exactly, baby. So after we did that, we noticed it was really brown on the top, but when you went and stirred it, it was completely caramelized, but a little dry, which is fine because we want that barbecue sauce to completely soak in. So now that we got that completely down there, you're gonna see the 3rd batch of barbecue sauce being used right now. So when making the barbecue sauce, again, I let it cool so then it thickens up, but we poured 1 batch, and this is both pans, of course, together. So all together for your pulled pork, 3 portions of the barbecue sauce. Now we're gonna go ahead and give that a final stir around just to get it nice and glazed over. And you know how sometimes people are self-conscious about their cooking, right? Well, first off, my husband did an excellent job with these. Everybody was complimenting how well they were, just delicious. One person told me that they can't come around my house no more because there's too much flavor. But we love it. See you guys in the next video. Bye. Thank you for stopping by and watching this video. If you haven't seen the previous video, go ahead and click on the box next to me. If you haven't already subscribed and this is your first time to the channel, the little logo down there, you go ahead and click on that and you're a part of the team. Now, see you in the next video. Bye.